Narration, Script, Episode 1. Do you believe an instrument can hold a soul? In a quiet town near Kanazawa, there lies an abandoned tea house. Locals call it Koto-an, the House of the Koto. No one visits it anymore, not after what happened to its last owner. I was a musician, traveling to document forgotten instruments of Japan. Old biwas, broken shamisen, and, of course, the koto. That's how I first heard the story. They told me the tea house was once famous for its haunting melodies. A woman played the koto there every night alone. No guests, no audience, yet people would gather outside just to listen. She never stopped playing, until one day she vanished, leaving only the koto behind and the faint sound of strings that never stopped. I visited the house. It was hidden in a bamboo grove, shutters broken, doors slightly open. Dust and silence filled the air. But inside, in the center of a tatami room, was the koto, flawless, untouched by time. Its strings moved, not vibrating, not plucked, just shifting, like breathing. I took a step closer. A soft note played, then another, a full melody. My recorder picked up nothing, but my ears, they heard it. The music was sad, slow, like a lullaby for someone long dead. And then I heard humming, a woman's voice, but there was no one there. That night, I stayed at a nearby inn, but I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the koto, soft, persistent, calling. At 3:33 a.m., I checked my phone. It had a new video file. I hadn't taken it. In the video, I sat in the tea house, playing the koto, smiling, but I don't remember recording it. Or smiling. I returned the next morning. The house was gone. Just bamboo, as if it never existed. But when I opened my luggage, the koto was there, perfect condition, strings humming. Now wherever I go, it plays, always between 3 and 4 a.m. And I can't stop myself. Every night I sit up and play. I don't know the song, but my hands do, and I think the woman never left. She's just waiting for someone to finish her melody. Narration, Script, Episode 2. Have you ever seen a shadow that didn't belong to anyone? It was my first winter in Aomori. I had moved into a small rental house near an ancient hilltop shrine. Locals called it Takamina Inari. Every morning at dawn, without fail, I saw something strange through my frosted window. A shadow kneeling at the shrine steps. Thin, tall, facing east. Hands together, praying. And yet, no one was there. I thought it was a trick of the light. Or maybe a neighbor's routine I hadn't yet noticed. But when I mentioned it to the grocer, she stopped moving. "You saw the prayer shadow?" I nodded. She whispered, "It means someone hasn't finished praying. Don't disturb it. Don't ever go up there at dawn." Of course I did. Curiosity always wins. I brought my camera. At 4:58 a.m., I stood at the edge of the shrine steps. Snow crunched softly under my boots. No one around. Then the temperature dropped, and the shadow appeared, but not on the ground, not cast by the rising sun. It stood on its own. It didn't move, just faced the altar. Hands together, I looked behind me. No one there, and still the shadow remained. I lifted my camera. Click. The shadow turned its head. Even though it had no features, I felt it see me. The wind stopped. It rose, no longer kneeling, and it walked toward me. I ran. Back home. Heart racing. I checked my camera. The photo was blank, except for one detail etched in the snow. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu, a Buddhist chant for the dead. That night, I heard soft chanting outside my house. Slow, rhythmic. I didn't sleep. At dawn, I peeked out the window, and there it was, kneeling. Not at the shrine this time, but on my porch. I moved out the next day, but the shadow followed. It kneels near my window now, every morning, everywhere I go, and it's getting closer. Last night, I woke to find wet snow on my floor and 2 footprints beside my bed. I think I disturbed a soul still in prayer, and now it wants to finish. Through me. Narration Script, Episode 3. Some things in old houses should never be disturbed, especially what lies beneath your feet. I had finally bought a countryside home in Ibaraki, a fixer-upper, cheap, isolated, exactly what I wanted. Peace and silence. Or so I thought. The house was old but charming. Wooden beams, sliding doors, tatami flooring in the main room. Thick, woven, sun-faded. The previous owner had passed away. No relatives, no funeral. Just a note left with the real estate agent. Do not lift the tatami. I ignored it, of course. Renovations began that weekend. I lifted the first corner of the tatami mat and froze. Underneath was not wood, not dirt, but stained paper, hundreds of Ofuda talismans overlapping like scales. Each had the same kanji, feng seal. I gently peeled one off, just one. From beneath the paper came a smell. Iron, rust, blood. The patch beneath the mat was wet. Dark red. Still warm. I threw the tatami back down. Told myself it was old paint. Mold anything but what it was. That night, I was woken by a sound. Drip. 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 It came from the tatami room. I entered with a flashlight. The mat was bleeding. A slow, steady pool seeping from underneath. The air was thick, metallic. My light flickered. Then, thump. Something moved beneath the mat. I fled the house and slept in my car. The next morning, the floor was clean. No blood, no smell. Only one thing had changed. The Ofuda I had removed was back. But the writing had changed. It now read, "Too late. I tried to move out, but no one would buy the house. Every time I packed, my belongings returned to their place overnight, like the house refused to let go." The final night, I heard footsteps, but not on the ground, inside the floor. They circled under the tatami, slowly, then stopped beneath me. I held my breath. Then, a hand burst through, thin, pale, long fingernails. It grabbed my ankle. Another hand followed. Then a face. Mouth sewn shut. Eyes wide with rage. I screamed, tore free, ran into the woods barefoot. Now, I live far from that place. But every night, I hear the tatami creak in my dreams. And sometimes, when I wake up, my feet are stained red, as if I walked barefoot through that room again. Some seals are warnings, some are traps, and once broken, you don't just free what was hidden. You invite it in. Narration Script, Episode 4. Would you answer? If the voice calling your name came from a well? I was visiting my uncle's old countryside home in Shimane Prefecture. He'd passed away recently, leaving behind a quiet property surrounded by forest. There wasn't much to sort through, just old tools. books and a sealed-off courtyard. My aunt had warned me never to go into that part of the house. I asked why. She only said, "Don't speak to it." Of course I did. The courtyard was overgrown, moss creeping over stone. In the center stood an old stone well, covered by a thick wooden lid bound with rope. Charms were nailed into the edges, weathered, blackened, half-torn. Something about it pulled me in. That night, I sat near it with a flashlight, watching the stars. And then a voice called my name. Not just a voice, my mother's voice. But she was hundreds of kilometers away. It echoed from the well, soft, gentle. "It's cold down here. Please help me." I stepped back, heart pounding. The voice repeated, "Don't be afraid. Just look." I leaned closer. The lid hadn't moved, but beneath the cracks, I saw an eye, not rotted, not ghostly, alive, staring up at me. I stumbled back and ran inside. My aunt was waiting. She looked at me like she already knew. "It's not her," she said. "It's never her." She told me the well was sealed when she was a child. After her brother fell in, they heard him scream for days. But when they finally pulled him up, he was already dead. And yet, they kept hearing his voice and others. I tried to sleep, but the voice returned. Now it sounded like me. "I'm down here. Don't leave me alone." The next morning, the well's lid was slightly ajar. A trail of wet footprints led to the kitchen door. That night, I made a mistake. I answered it. I said, "Who are you?" The voice whispered back, "You." And then, something crawled out of the well. It looked like me. Same clothes, same face, but eyes empty, mouth too wide. It smiled, and it ran into the woods. I chased it, screaming, but it was gone. When I returned to the well, the lid was sealed again, tighter than before. No eye, no voice, but carved into the mossy stone, "You are free now. Let me wear your face a while." Since then, people have seen me in places I've never been. They say I act strange, that I smile too much, that I don't blink. I wonder sometimes, am I the one who walked away? Or am I still beneath the well? Series closing narration. Thank you for listening to Japanese horror narration series Vol. 2. These 5 tales were not just stories, but warnings, echoes of spirits still lingering in forgotten corners of Japan. We hope you're still with us, whole, unchanged, because sometimes the scariest thing is not what you hear, it's what follows you after the story ends. Until next time, sleep well and never answer when you're alone. Good night.